You're listening to Farang Stories, Hungry Nights in Pattaya. Episode 6, Return to the Road. The bus back into Pattaya moved like a tired animal through the morning heat. Outside the window, the landscape shifted from green rice fields to the long grey of the coastal highway. Billboards for condos and beach clubs leaned over the road like promises made to strangers. The air inside smelled of diesel, talc, and sweet bread from someone's breakfast bag. Ning watched the scenery roll past and thought how strange it was to be returning. Years ago, she had arrived full of hunger and hope, chasing survival. Now she was coming back with a different kind of hunger. For peace, for stability, for days that did not test her. She rested her hand on her daughter's shoulder. Mali slept beside her, headphones in, hair falling over her face. 13 already. How time folded itself. Ning remembered carrying her on her hip through the wet markets, the small weight of her head against her chest. Now she was nearly grown, and the world was waiting. The sea appeared suddenly between buildings, silver and endless. Pattaya, the city that had once taken so much from her, shimmered like an old story retold. The road into town was the same as always, wide, hot, alive with horns and engines, and the sound of a city forever promising something it could not quite deliver. But Ning saw it differently now. It no longer felt like the world's center. It was simply another place people passed through, trying to find their shape. Every morning she cycled to work along the coast road, the sea glittering to her left. She wore a broad hat to keep the sun off her face, and a long-sleeved shirt that made her look more like a teacher than a hotel worker. The guest house sat on a gentle rise above the bay. Palm trees leaned into the wind. The sign out front read simply, Palm Haven, Rooms and Peace. The name made her smile every time she saw it. On her first day there, the owner, Kun Anong, handed her a neatly folded uniform, a pale cream blouse and skirt with the guest house's name stitched in blue thread above the pocket. The fabric was cool and clean, smelling faintly of starch and lavender. When she changed into it, she looked in the mirror and paused. The last time she had dressed for work that demanded a costume, it had been satin and light too bright to see herself clearly. Now she pulled on the blouse and buttoned it to the throat, smoothing the fabric flat against her chest. It was still armor, she realized, but a different kind. Not armor against touch or expectation, but against memory, against the idea that she was only the things she had done to survive. This uniform said something simpler. I belong somewhere honest. She tied her braid and breathed. For the first time in years, she felt safe inside her own skin. Palm Haven was small. 12 rooms, a narrow pool, a garden filled with bougainvillea, and the hum of insects. Guests came and went. Families, couples, backpackers, chasing the idea of freedom. Ning greeted them all with the same soft courtesy that had once kept her safe in places less kind. She learned how to fold towels into swans, how to polish brass until it glowed, how to balance firmness and warmth when travelers tested boundaries. There was an elderly German man who came every winter, always leaving his shoes outside in perfect alignment, a young Thai couple who argued and made up twice a week, a British backpacker who left his charger behind 3 times and always apologized as if confessing a sin. Each face became part of the rhythm of her days. She liked that she could help them, not by pretending, but by being steady. Kun Anong treated her well. You run the place better than I do, she said once, half joking. Ning smiled and changed the subject. She did not need praise. She needed purpose, and this was enough. At lunch, she often ate with the gardener, an old man who claimed he could tell if rain was coming just by the sound of the leaves. You cannot stop a storm, he said once, but you can move your chair out of its way. Ning laughed, because that was all any of them had ever done. In the afternoons, after work, she walked home slowly along the waterfront. Vendors called out greetings. The scent of Som-Tam Balaa drifted from food stalls. Sometimes she bought a portion wrapped in banana leaf and sat on the low wall by the sea to eat it. She would watch the sky turn from gold to violet and remember everything the city had taken and everything it had given back. Her daughter, Mali, was now 13, restless and clever. She wanted to be a teacher or perhaps a nurse, She read English books faster than Ning could find them. One evening, Marley announced, "I want to study in Bangkok when I finish school." Ning's heart stuttered, half pride, half fear. "Bangkok is big," she said. "So am I," Marley grinned. "I can handle it." Ning smiled, though she felt a small ache she could not name. She had once thought distance meant loss. Now she understood it could mean freedom. On weekends, they sometimes visited Dao, who lived quietly in a shared room near the market. Dao was older, slower, but sober, and grateful for every day. The three of them would sit on the floor eating noodles, laughing about nothing, and Ning would think, this is what survival looks like when it works. Sometimes Dao told stories from the old days, half as warnings, half as jokes. "Remember Fong?" she said once. "She runs a massage school now. Says it is easier to teach men to relax than to please them." Ning laughed until she cried. The past had turned from wound to anecdote, softened by distance and time. One evening, after closing the guest house, Ning cycled to the mission. The gate was new, painted blue. The mural of flowers had been redone by another generation of children, brighter now, less afraid of color. Kate and Bill had retired to Chiang Mai, leaving the mission in the hands of a Thai couple who carried their same gentleness. Inside, children were practicing a song for a school performance. Ning recognized the melody, the same one they had sung at her 16th birthday. She stood at the back for a moment, smiling, then helped the smaller ones keep time by clapping softly. Afterwards, the new matron brought her tea. "You used to live here, right?" she asked. "Yes," said Ning. "A long time ago." "You could teach," the woman said. "The girls here listen to people who have walked their road." Ning looked around the courtyard. The air smelled of soap and cooked rice. She could still hear the faint laughter of her younger self, the sound folded into the walls. "Maybe I will," she said. The weeks that followed felt light. She worked mornings at the guest house, afternoons helping at the mission, teaching English, showing the girls how to manage their money, how to stay safe, how to walk away when someone's smile felt wrong. The first day she stood in front of them, chalk in hand. Her heart trembled a little. The girls looked up, curious, wary, just as she had once looked at Kate. "I am not a teacher," she began, "but I know how to start again." They listened. Some days they laughed, some days they argued, but they stayed. That was enough. One of the older girls asked her once, "Do you believe people change?" Ning thought for a long moment before answering. "Yes," she said finally, "but not because someone saves them, because they decide to." The girl nodded slowly, as if filing the answer away for later. One afternoon, a British family checked into the guest house. Parents, 2 children, sunburned and smiling. The mother apologized for their noise. The father insisted on carrying their own bags. When they left a note. "Thank you for making us feel safe." Ning folded it carefully and tucked it into her drawer. Small words, but they felt like a medal. A month later, during a staff meeting, Kunanong asked if she would like to manage the guest house while she traveled north for a few weeks. Ning hesitated, then said yes. When she locked the office door that evening, she realized the keys jingling in her hand felt heavier than they should, not in weight, but in meaning. That night she cycled home with the wind at her back. As the days passed, life found its balance. The mornings were for work, the afternoons for teaching, the evenings for her daughter. Sometimes she caught herself humming. Old songs from the club, the laundry, the mission, stitched together into something new. The world did not forget. It forgave slowly, in the form of ordinary days that asked nothing more than showing up. On her 33rd birthday, Ning sat by the shore watching Marley play in the surf. The sun dipped low, turning the sea to molten glass. The air smelled of salt and grilled fish and faraway rain. She thought about the road behind her, the slum, the mission, the city's noise, the quiet mornings. Marley came running up the sand, holding a shell. "For you," she said. "It is not perfect, but it is pretty." Ning turned it in her hand. The shell was cracked at the edge, but the inside gleamed like mother of pearl. "Perfect is boring," she said. "This is better." As her daughter ran back to the waves, Ning traced the shell's smooth curve with her thumb. She realized she was no longer waiting for rescue. She had become her own. That evening, she rode her bicycle home through the narrow lanes. The air was soft on her skin, the smell of grilled corn and sea breeze mixing with motorbike fumes. She stopped at a red light and caught her reflection in the mirror. Lines at the corners of her eyes, a softness in her mouth, strength in her posture. Not the frightened girl from Khon Kaen, not the weary hostess of Second Road, not the runaway in the rain. Just Ning, whole, ordinary, and enough. The light turned green. She smiled to herself and rode on into the evening, the sea on her left, the wind carrying the faint, bright scent of Som-Tam Balaa. You've been listening to Farang Stories. If you'd like more tales from Pattaya, Bangkok, and beyond, subscribe and share this episode.